I have to come back to this subject again and again and exert whatever scholarship I have to try to explain and clarify this subject once and for all. And then after that, it's for the scholars to decide whether Imran is speaking nonsense or whether there's some sense in him. I come from the island of Trinidad in the Caribbean, where Hindus and Muslims live. And I want to know whether or not I have found this hatred for Islam in the Hindu heart. But this ayah of the Quran, it speaks about. In the 1920s, I was born in 1942, so long before I was born, a hurricane came to Trinidad. You know what's a hurricane? Like a typhoon. And this hurricane blew off the roof of the masjid in a city called Tacarigua. It's an American Indian name. And the day of Jummah is coming and the Muslims don't have a place to perform Salatul Jummah because rain falls not every day. One of the most famous pundits in the island, a pundit is the highest man in the Hindu religion, the Pandit. His name was Doon Pandit. And he was also very, very famous as a man of spiritual healing. But Allah had blessed him with this ability to heal, bi-iznillah. So he was very famous for this, spiritual healing. And Doon Pandit was in Tacarigua. And when he heard of what happened to the masjid, the roof of the masjid, he invited the Muslim community to come and perform the Salatul Jum'ah in the mandir. Did you hear that? The Hindu mandir. So the Muslims said, Pandit ji, how can we perform Salat in your mandir when you have all these murtis, these idols? We can't do that, Pandit ji. So Pandit, Doon Pandit said, no problem, I'll move them all. And he cleared out the mandir of all the murtis. And the Muslims came in the mandir and they performed Salatul Jummah for 6 weeks until they had repaired the roof of the masjid. Is that hatred? That's something to think about. This is not a normal Hindu. This is not an ordinary Pandit. This is the most famous Pandit in the land. He got into trouble with his own people. He got into trouble with his own people, but he was powerful enough to say, don't bother, I am in charge, not you. I'll tell you another story in the 5 minutes that I have, because this is my lecture for today. This is the strategy, not Ghazwatul Hind. I was 21 years of age. My father was dead, I was an orphan. And my mother was struggling to pay the bills and so on. I was teaching, getting a small salary. And I got a scholarship to go to Al-Azhar. And I went to Al-Azhar. And I was disappointed, because I didn't find the kind of scholarship that I got from Maulana Fadlur Rahman Ansari when he visited Trinidad. I was 18. So Maulana Fadlur Rahman Ansari in Pakistan heard about it and he invited me to come to Pakistan. So they arranged my ticket and I flew to Pakistan. But my father had a Hindu friend who had converted to Christianity just to get a job, but in his heart he's Hindu. His name was Lakshman. And when my father was dying, he handed over his family to his friend Lakshman. So you could have a Hindu who had such righteousness, such character, such honesty, that you could hand over your family to him. So Lakshman became a second father to me. And My family wanted me to leave Pakistan and go and study law in England. And I was also inclined to do that. The institute in Pakistan had not been established. I was going to be the first student and so on. And Maulana Fazlur Rahman Ansari reached to Trinidad at that time. And Lakshman had to meet with him. And a decision had to be taken. Whether Imran will remain in Pakistan and study Islam, or whether Imran will go to England and study law. when Maulana Fazlur Rahman Ansari convinced that Hindu man, he then gave permission. He said, no, Imran will remain in Pakistan and study Islam. As a result of which, I'm here today. Is this hatred? Is this enmity? Is this hostility? That your scholar who is sitting here today is sitting here to me because a Hindu gave permission for me to study. I have to end now.